Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands and artists and music festivals that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR. Outfitters.com. Don't just wear RAR. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another episode of one of my favorite series that we've done, and it's our bottom line on the bottom lines. So when you look at a festival poster and all those small font bands that are at the bottom, we are featuring them at different festivals throughout the country. And today, because it starts today, it is Bonnaroo edition, the bottom line on the bottom lines, Bonnaroo edition 2026. Hoping for good weather, not looking so good right now. But ladies and gentlemen, a little history about Bonnaroo. Jonathan Mayers and Ashley Capps co-founded this iconic festival in 2002, and 70,000 people showed up. 24 years later, and a year has passed since Jonathan died unexpectedly, and the festival was cut short after one day due to massive flooding. Improvements to the roads and traffic flows, with 100 acres worth of new Bermuda grass, and also an upgrade to their drainage systems, will hopefully avoid potentially another rainy weekend in Manchester, Tennessee. They've got over 45,000 people in attendance for this year's edition. And for those of you going this weekend, have fun and stay hydrated and cool. And for those of you not going, Hulu is once again the home of Bonnaroo's live stream all weekend. So check out their website and app for the schedule. And make sure to check out our Spotify playlist of the 15 songs and 5 bands and artists that we are featuring. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Our first band, we're going across the pond to Ireland. The band is called Amble, and they're playing on the What stage on Friday at 3:15. The songs I'm featuring are Marley Park, Tanta, and Socrates Smiled. Albums that they've released was in 2025, Reverie, that was their debut album. They've also released an EP called Hand Me Downs in September of 2025. And then they've released 2 live from Dublin editions, one in July of 2025 and one in February of this year. This Irish folk trio started in 2022 as 2 teachers and a data scientist who grew up far away from each other, yet shared many similar musical experiences with their own families. Last year, they signed with Warner Records and released their debut album, and it's the most streamed in the entire country of Ireland in 2025. Their friendship means more than the music, and this band is just getting started. They have opened for Ed Sheeran and Hozier, and have a busy summer of tour dates as well. So our next band, ladies and gentlemen, they are called Buffalo Traffic Jam. They are playing on the This stage at 1:45. I think they play on Sunday. And the songs that I'm featuring are Fool's Gold, Need to Go, and Hanging on Hope. Albums they've released, they have an EP that was released in October of 25 called Take Me Home, and their debut album comes out in July of this year called Pictures of You. Frankie and Nathan met in Bozeman, Montana, as students at Montana State and have been a band since 2024 and are signed to Arista Records. They have a busy rest of 2026 with a European tour and stops in Australia and New Zealand, with US dates as well. They mix country, rock, and folk with heartfelt lyrics. And Frankie says it best. We don't want to be the soundtrack to someone's happy ending. We want to be the song that gets them through the middle of it. Buffalo Traffic Jam, ladies and gentlemen. Your next band, my oh my. These girls, they are called the Lambrini Girls. The songs I'm featuring are Big Dick Energy, Lads, 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 and Cult of Celebrity. They released an album called Who Let the Dogs Out in 2025, and they've released singles since 2022, and they play on the Witch stage on Friday at 1:15. Frontwoman Phoebe Lunny, just 2 months ago, while on stage, fractured her neck and suffered a brain injury that forced them to miss their debut Coachella performances, and ironically were replaced by Mr. Jack White. She is joined by Celine and two touring musicians to bring a wall of punk rock with snarling lyrics and clever song titles. They will be a can't miss at Bonnaroo, and I so wish that we are getting to see them, but I am going to be on the lookout to see them live, because my, oh my, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two bands left. Our next artist, his name is Motif. He's playing the other stage at 1:45 on Sunday, and the songs I'm featuring are Making Magic, Puzzles, and Found. Albums that he's released or EPs have been Drift Theory in 2025, Dilated Mind in 2021, and The Path in 2019. Joseph Kechter is a 26-year-old musician and producer from Northern Colorado who is signed to Mint Talent Agency and just so happens to be the younger brother of Pretty Lights. His music is analog-inspired, blending soul and gospel from the 60s with futuristic synths and experimental bass with some great rapping and freestyling. He released 3 different EPs last year, and it sounds like we might get a full-length album this year. Motif, ladies and gentlemen. And then our last artist, her name is Steph Strings. No relation to Billy, but the songs I'm featuring are A Storm in April, Melbourne Blue, and Dusty Road. And some of her songs, ladies and gentlemen, are all instrumentals, which is really, really cool. She released her debut album, Feel Alive, January of this year, and she's released EPs called Lion and Wildfire in 2023 and 2022. Melbourne, Australia's own, started playing piano at the age of 7 and playing the guitar at age 9. And now at 25 is playing Bonnaroo, Milwaukee's Summerfest, and has a world tour under her belt. At 18, she met fellow Aussie singer Ziggy Alberts, who remembered her 5 years later and asked her to open on his European and North American tour. Using conversations with friends and family as inspiration for songs, She admits that a life without music would cause her to be lost and totally anxious. I feel your pain, Steph. I feel your pain. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your 5 artists and bands. We've got Amble, Buffalo Traffic Jam, the Lambrini Girls, Motif, and Steph Strings. And like I said, make sure to check out our Spotify playlist of all of those bands and artists and those songs that I featured. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands and artists and music festivals that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.